Hey, from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, a show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
And I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
John, how you doing?
Oh, well, you know, the downward spiral continues.
Yeah, but I mean, January 20th, it's close. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Tom Petty was absolutely right. The waiting is the hardest part.
Oh, John, don't do me like that.
Wow. I mean, it's just, things are just getting increasingly nutty at a faster and faster pace.
Yeah.
We got the white nationalists trying to take over the Capitol. It seems like some of them have been aided by certain senators leading tours, but before that, Armie Hammer is a cannibal, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't think those things are really connected, but it's also a weird thing that's happened.
I'm sure there's if we think about it and go into the QAnon, I'm sure there's some connection between the two.
Yeah, you're right. It probably is all part of a vast conspiracy. I mean, that's the only logical explanation.
That's right. I mean, Phil Spector just died this morning, so I'm sure he's part of it. He was about to blow the lid off the whole thing, so they had him silenced, of course. Phil Spector did not kill himself. I'm putting it out there.
Okay.
Is that too much for a beginning of the podcast?
It's just too real, man. It's too real.
I'm sorry. Oh, was that too real for you? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
Yeah. So how are you doing, Darren?
I'm all right. I'm good. Hopefully I won't be silenced for my words. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing great.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, still staying indoors, staying safe.
I think I'm at the point I'm just like, I need to increase the size of my pod, because I don't really see people outside of the people that I work with. I'm going into the office for the day job, and it's getting old. I miss the socializing.
Well, I mean, you can still socialize, do outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
but it's winter. It's cold.
But it's not even that cold, actually. I was out yesterday doing shopping stuff. It actually got kind of warm. I think because of global warming or whatever. It hadn't snowed again in a while. It's chilly out, but it's not freezing cold. It's not like the old New York East Coast winters that I'm used to.
Yeah.
So I would say meet up with some friends in a park, socially distance. If somebody has a backyard, get some folding chairs and just hang out that way. Just outdoor with your friends in the chilly cold, and that's live your life.
Okay, we got a big "I have folding chairs" brag. Well, look at you.
I'm doing very well in this fiscal year. I don't mean to brag, but I was able to buy 2 folding chairs off of Craigslist. So,
look at you! So both you and your wife can sit down.
Yep, got deep pockets, my friend. Deep pockets.
Wow.
This podcasting game is quite lucrative.
Okay. So that's where we are. I get it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to show off me being the 1% or anything, but
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, I just some of us have lawn chairs. Some of us dare to dream.
Hey, I mean, if you just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work hard, you'll get to be where I'm at someday. You can afford 2 folding chairs from the 70s for $12.
Wow.
So, let me be an inspiration for you, John.
Yeah, for me and for all of our audience.
That's right. America's the land of opportunity. Where anybody can afford aluminum folding chairs if they just work hard enough.
That's true. So what are we going to do this week, Darren?
What are we going to do?
What are we talking about?
John, tonight we're going to talk about the film, a little film called Spies Like Us. Came out December 6th, 1985. Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, directed by John Landis. And for those keeping score, this is the 6th John Landis film we've talked about on this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Let me see if I can name them all. We did Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
We did Animal House.
Yep.
We did Blues Brothers 2000.
Right.
We did Trading Places.
Right.
We're doing Spies Like Us this week. What's the sixth?
You remember? You want me to tell you? You want a hint?
Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Three Amigos.
Oh, Three Amigos, of course. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. And we still have to do. I mean, we'll probably will do in the future. We still have Coming to America to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, John Landis. He stay working with SNL people.
When is the Coming to America sequel coming out? I know there's a trailer for it.
Yes, that is coming out in March.
Oh, okay. That's not too far away. So we'll probably cover the first Coming to America and then the second, I would imagine.
Yeah. So stay tuned, folks, for that.
Or maybe we should just do the second one first and then go back and do the first one.
Ooh, maybe. Wow, choices, decisions.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, but well, right now we got Spies Like Us. Came out December 6th, 1985. Budget of 22 mil, made $77 million, 77.3 million. I forgot that this film was a hit. Just because.
Yeah, this film has kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit, but I was reading up on it. It actually made more money than Chevy Chase's other two films that year.
And that is bonkers to think of. I mean, I think I also looked into it, and I think one of the reasons that attributed to it making a lot of money is because it had Dan Aykroyd, who was just coming off of Ghostbusters,
Right.
and Chevy Chase, who was just coming off of Vacation, which was a big hit too. So they still had a little cachet to them, so like they could still take a movie on.
Yeah, I think one of I can't. Yeah, okay. I just found this on IMDb. It was Chevy Chase's most successful film at the North American box office in 1985. It grossed $60 million domestically, while his other pictures, Fletch and National Lampoon's European Vacation, grossed $50 million and $49 million, respectively. Ironically, the later two less financially successful films inspired sequels, while there was never a sequel to this film.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You think a movie like this that made money, they would immediately fast track it for a sequel, but it never happened.
Yeah, maybe it just never. Maybe they tried and it never came together creatively. Who knows?
Yeah, it was as interesting. And then, of course, also, if you look into history, this movie was actually it was Aykroyd wrote it for himself and Belushi, but of course, he passed away. You know, before this movie was able to be made. And from what I've read, Chevy Chase said in an interview that this movie, after Belushi passed, this script was rewritten for Aykroyd and Richard Pryor, but the studio didn't like it for whatever reason.
I'm trying to imagine what that pairing would have been like.
Oh, those guys' energy, they're coming from two different places. I would think maybe it would be kind of a little bit more like what Trading Places was.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, that's a great pairing, and I could see him and Richard Pryor being an interesting pairing. I just wish, we could have seen that once.
Right. So, all right. So, in the Chicago Tribune in 1985, Chase said, after John died, the script was rewritten for Dan and Richard Pryor, but the studios didn't like it. I had been working at Warner Brothers on an ABSCAM like project that I wasn't too keen about, but I told them that I did like the script that Danny had written about a couple of State Department spies who are sent off as decoys on a mission. And so that was a spark Aykroyd needed, and Aykroyd says, yeah, Chevy helped me get Spies Like Us made. And he also says in an interview in the Boston Globe in 88, I'm a great originator. I'll say that about myself, but as an executioner, I like the collaborative process. I like that boiler room atmosphere. I guess that's from the show. I like to write. So it seems like it was all written and ready to go, but Chase helped kind of push it over the finish line.
Right, and the story was done by Dan Aykroyd and Dave Thomas from SCTV fame, and then it was later rewritten by Lowell Gantz and Babaloo Mandel. And
that's a name.
I just love the name Babaloo Mandel.
Like, I think that just might be my new nom de plume, my new fake name. Whenever I want to,
I think the real Babaloo Mandel is still using it.
Is he? Damn it.
Yeah. As far as I know, he is still alive. Let's see. Wikipedia refers to him in the present tense, so he is still doing all right. But yeah, the two of them, they've got a lot of great screenplays to their name. They did Splash, Parenthood, City Slickers, and A League of Their Own.
Ooh.
So
It's not a bad resume right there.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, talented guys. Talented guys.
Yeah. So I mean, so when you pitched this movie for us to talk about, I mean, I got to be honest. I remember this movie. I think I saw it once years ago with a friend of mine. But it never really kind of stuck in my memory. Like I just thought
Mhm.
of it as one of those movies. Like, oh yeah, I kind of remember Spies Like Us. It's like one of those movies they show on TBS on a Sunday afternoon or whatever. Like I just kind of dismissed it. But you know, when you pitched this movie, I was like, all right, well, we'll give it a shot. And then I tweeted out that we were doing this, and I totally kind of misjudged how much people love this movie because we got back a good amount of Twitter responses to it, and then when we looked into the trivia about it, there was like a lot of information there too. So I was like, oh, have I been? Did I not know this movie had like a fervent fan base?
Yeah, I don't know. Is there a big Spies Like Us cult out there?
I'm,
I don't know, but
I I think so. I mean, I don't think it's as big as like a movie like Clue or something, but there are a lot of huge fans that love Spies Like Us, and I totally did not know that.
yeah, and apparently one of them is Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy because he made an episode of Family Guy that was like a follow up to this.
Really?
Um, yeah, yeah. Let me try and find that in the on the IMDb trivia. Um, there's a lot of it. So they did an episode called "Spies Reminiscent of Us," and it featured Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd as themselves on another spy mission. They explained that President Reagan appointed them real life spies after seeing this film. This was an episode that they did in 2009.
Oh, okay. So this is when Obama was in office.
Why do you sound so disappointed?
Well, no, I'm happy. No, I'm thinking out loud. I'm not disappointed. I love him.
Okay. You're just like, so this is the Obama administration is responsible for that Family Guy episode.
Yeah, we all know what that guy did. MAGA.
Yeah, yeah. But apparently, the episode recreates numerous scenes from the film. I've never seen that episode, but yeah, I may try to check that out. And also, do you remember the show Chuck?
Of course. Who could forget the show Chuck?
The spy comedy series, according to Wikipedia, it was heavily influenced by Spies Like Us, including references to GLG 20, which is what they call the spies in this movie. It's like their level of spydom. And the introduction of Tony Hale's character of Emmett Milbarge, who combined the names of Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase's characters from this movie.
Yeah, people love Spies Like Us, and I had no idea. I was like, really?
Yeah.
People love this movie like that?
And it's
Really?
interesting. I was aware of this movie. I was familiar with this movie. I'd probably seen the odd scene or two, but I'd never sat down and watched the whole thing from beginning to end. So
All right.
it was interesting to check it out. But to be 100% honest, I think the main reason I wanted to do this was because I wanted to talk about the Paul McCartney music video
Of course, we're burying the lead here, people.
that ties in with this. I mean, I think we should cover the movie first and then go into the Paul McCartney video.
Oh,
But there's some interesting trivia surrounding the video too.
all right, we'll get into that later. Because I guess it was around the time in the early '80s where like every '80s comedy had like a theme song to it. Like
Yeah,
like Cyndi Lauper made that song for the Goonies, and I guess The Power of Love was for Back to the Future, the Huey Lewis song. Like for some reason, like every '80s comedy had its own theme song. So, and this movie is no different.
it is. That is a very '80s thing where they kind of discovered, hey, if we have like a hit song on the radio and a music video playing on MTV all the time, that's like free promotion for the movie. And yeah, it's nothing but a good thing. I guess that maybe kind of grew out of things like Saturday Night Fever or something like that. But I mean, when you have MTV, that's only going to promote it even further.
I guess so. Like, I mean, I watched the video after I saw the movie, and there's like, you know how like YouTube has those kind of little clips of other videos like the video you're watching,
Mm-hmm.
and well, one of them was the Billy Ocean video, "Going Gets Tough," with
The
the
top get going. That's
yeah, when the going gets rough, yeah, and it
was that from the Billy Crystal Gregory Hines movie? What was that
oh,
called?
oh no, that's Running Scared. You're thinking about Michael McDonald's "Sweet Freedom."
Oh, okay.
Oh,
What
sweet
was what was the Going Gets Tough from?
That was from well, in the video you actually see like Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito as like Billy Ocean's backup singer. So it was either
Oh,
for
okay.
it was either
So
for like
one of the Romancing of the Stone movies then.
yeah, either Romancing a Stone or Jewel of the Nile. I forget, but yeah, I
Okay.
remember it's like oh yeah, that was a
Probably
thing.
not from War of the Roses.
Oh boy, probably not.
Although I would like to see a music video tie-in for that movie. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, they were both like at the end. It could be like performing on a chandelier or something.
Exactly.
God,
Exactly.
that movie was way darker than I was expecting.
It is. It is. That was our little War of the Roses in joke deep cut for all you War of the Roses fans who've been listening to the podcast for 2 years. Just been like, when are they going to talk about War of the Roses? God damn it! That
We
was for
got
you.
you. We got you, people. We got you.
But
You're welcome.
Spies Like Us. Should,
Yes,
should we, should we get into the movie?
we shall get into the movie.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it starts out. I really liked the opening of this movie. It opens with like a shot of moose, which great way to start your movie, I think.
Yeah, always love a good moose.
And we get and they're in like this wintry woods, and then like the big thing is coming through the woods and knocking down the trees, and all the moose scatter out of the way. So it's very intriguing. It's a very striking way to start a movie, I think.
Right. You see, basically, like you said, like this large rocket kind of warhead kind of plowing through the forest and all the animals scattering. And that's how we start this comedy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to outer space. We see an American spy satellite take pictures of this Russian missile in the woods, and then the pictures are transmitted down to Earth, and we see them like print out the pictures. A guy puts it in a briefcase, and then it goes out to into this briefcase, and then they transport it out to like this government facility.
Right. It's a spy with the traditional briefcase handcuffed to the wrist
Yes.
type. You've seen it in every spy movie. It's like a cliche. And he's coming out of the Ace Tomato Company, which is basically the front for the spy house headquarters. I guess you
Yeah,
could say.
and even the Ace Tomato Company as like the shell company for like the CIA, according to the IMDb trivia, that is most likely a reference to United Fruit, now Chiquita Bananas, a company widely known to have been involved with the CIA in the 1950s. The connection is subtly underlined with the name of one of the generals, Meigs. One Henry Meigs, an American business magnate operating in South America, was the uncle of one of the founders of what would become United Fruit.
That is interesting. I had no idea about that.
That seems like that's got to be like a Dan Aykroyd touch to me, because he seems to love that deep dive trivia stuff.
Yeah, that's classic Aykroyd. There's something else that happened in this movie. I was like, oh, Aykroyd definitely wrote that in.
Yeah, yeah, you can kind of tell his touch in certain things, and
Yeah.
but he this messenger, this courier, he arrives at this government office. He's got the photos in the briefcase, handcuffed to him on a chain, and the two guys that he meets with are like, "Oh, well, you don't have the authorization to see this," and they're like, the people who have the keys to the briefcase are not there yet. So they literally tell him, "Go into this closet, and we will look at these photos in your briefcase." It was kind of a funny start to the movie, I thought.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And so the two men that are, I don't think we ever learn who they are or their position exactly. They're just known as Mr. Keys and Mr. Ruby. And we
Right.
see Mr. Ruby is Bruce Davidson, who nerds may recognize as the senator from the X-Men movies.
That's right. Yeah, he played Senator Kelly. Yeah,
Right.
another sort of slimy government guy.
Yeah, that's his bread and butter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's one of those character actors who's been around for forever. So it was fun to see him. And it was just fun to see him like looking so young, because it's like in 1985, Bruce Davidson.
Yeah, he had a spring in his step, full head of brown hair, just a spring chicken.
Yeah. So they decide they see that the Russians have this missile, and that is aimed at the United States, and they decide, okay, we got to send some teams to take him out. So they decide to have two teams, one to do the job and then one to use as decoys to
Right,
like attract attention from the Russians so that the others can go in and do their job.
right. Because I think the general said that on the last mission, two of their best men got killed, and they think that there's a leak within their house.
Yeah,
So
in the training.
in the training, right?
Yeah, in the training facility. So they decide, okay, we're going to get like two guys we don't really care about. They don't have to be competent. All they have to do is just go there. We'll just train them really quickly, and then we'll send them out there. And we don't really care what happens to them. They're expendable.
And guess who those two guys end up being?
Yeah, we have Chevy Chase as Emmett Fitzhume, who is an information officer and diplomat, and he's about to take the Foreign Service Board exams. We see him; he's just sitting around in the office, and he's watching an old Ronald Reagan movie at a TV on his desk.
Right. It's a musical called "She's Working Her Way Through College."
Yes.
The 1952 film with then President Ronald Reagan singing along and just dancing up a storm.
Yeah, yeah. And like one of his colleagues is like, "Well, hey, you're taking these Foreign Service Board exams tomorrow. Aren't you worried? You have to answer 500 questions in 2 hours." And Chevy Chase is like, no, I'm not worried about it. I've taken it like 3 times. I know it back and front. It's gonna be cool. And then we cut to Chevy, and he's sleeping with a woman who's like some other government official, and she is like, no, I'm not going to help you cheat on the exam.
Yeah, she's like a supervisor. And
Yeah.
that's another thing I've noticed throughout this movie. Like all the women in this film are just kind of, I don't want to say sex objects, but
No, I'd say that's pretty accurate.
okay.
This seems to be like this weird thing that you only find in late 70s, early 80s movies. Like all the movies that Chevy Chase did back in the day, they paint him as this sex god.
Yeah,
And I just do not get it. I'm just like, is Chevy Chase that handsome? Is he that charismatic that women are falling over him like he's James Bond or something?
I guess so. Because you remember like when he was first got on SNL, like people were saying he had like these leading man looks and this charisma, like, and they were painting him as like the breakout star, and they were really wanted to kind of mold him and make him into like the new hot hunk of Hollywood. And like I look at old pictures, I mean, he's a good looking guy back in the day, but like I don't, he's not like no Clark Gable or nothing.
Yeah, I don't really get it. I mean, and it's just because he's not, and forgive me, Chevy Chase, he's not like a classically handsome guy. He's not like the square jawed guy. He's a good looking guy, but I'm just you could pass him on the street and he's like above average looking. I think
I mean, he's got the little dimple in the chin. Maybe that's it.
the
I don't
cleft
know.
chin. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I didn't get it. I'm just like, why do 1980s movies act like Chevy Chase is like the shit? Like Tom Selleck was a thing.
Yeah, he was around. He's a
Yeah,
handsome.
you know.
Like that mustache. My God.
I mean, is this something that like Chevy Chase was demanding in all of his movies? Like, I must have beautiful women coming onto me. Like Christy Brinkley must strip by a swimming pool, and and be like, I must have you.
I guess so. It's like it's in his writer. It's like whatever script I got, I need whatever Playboy model is like out right now. That needs to be my leading lady because
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
I'm a stallion and I need a woman to
And people need to know.
yes, exactly.
I am going to do Caddyshack. Twiggy is going to find me irresistibly charming.
Yeah, what was that?
I
Guys,
don't
call in
know.
if what was that about?
I don't know. But okay, so we got Chevy Chase as Emmett Fitzhume, and then we have Dan Aykroyd, who is a civilian code breaker named Austin Milbarge. These are great names, by the way.
Fantastic names. I also like how when they introduce him, they have like the Navy officer going into his office and he's playing this loud rock music.
Uh huh.
That song playing is "Rock the House Down," sung by one Peter Aykroyd.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. He Dan got his brother some work.
All right. Oh, good for you, Dad.
Yeah.
Looking out for the family. Yeah, and so Austin Milbarge, he's got like this basement office, and we find out he's very competent. He like translated this. He's a code breaker, so he translated this code, and his supervisor's like, "Well, did you do this other thing?" And he's like, "Yes, I already did this." And we find out his supervisor doesn't like him, and he springs it on Dan Aykroyd. And I'm just going to keep calling him Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase throughout. I think, as much as I love the character names, I think it'll be less confusing.
That's fine.
So he says to Dan Aykroyd, "Well, hey, you're going to take this thing, this exam tomorrow." And Aykroyd's like, "No, but you just told me about this now. I was supposed to be notified 2 weeks ago. I only have one night to study." And because his supervisor hates him and wants him out, he's like, "Oh, well, I guess you're not going to do well then." Ha 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 ha.
You watch your mouth, mister.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't quite get why Aykroyd was so hated, because he seems very good at his job, but
yeah,
something about his style like pisses off his military supervisor.
Yeah, see, I thought maybe like the military officer, like didn't want him to leave because he was so good at his job, so he wanted to keep Aykroyd there so he could do all the work. And
okay, yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Aykroyd did say something about yeah, you just want me to keep on doing all your work. So I guess he didn't want to lose his toady.
Exactly, toady. What the hell's that?
Toady is like somebody underneath you that you have.
Oh, I never heard that before. Like an underling.
Oh, okay. Oh. Yeah, like an underling.
I've never.
So like somebody you look down upon and you abuse.
Okay. Like, but you don't pay them to do that. Like, okay.
I don't know if toadies are actually paid or not. I would have to look that up.
Got it. All right. Oh, look at me learning something new.
That's right. We're expanding your vocabulary.
Yay.
So we go into the test the next day, and this is another thing about this movie. There are very many director cameos in this movie.
Dude, I was going to mention that. Like, there are a lot of cameos in this. Like, I totally forgot. Like, he's in this? He's in this? Mm-hmm. Well, we'll get to it. But yeah, this is chock-a-block of not only cameos, but cameos from directors. Which
yes.
Are very specific.
Yeah, yeah, and there are a few other like technical people. There's a cinematographer. There's a visual effects artist. And we'll point them out as we go. So like the guy administering the test is Frank Oz, who John Landis also used in both of the Blues Brothers movies he did.
That's right. And this is probably the funniest scene out of the movie. I really like this scene.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, because this is the exam scene where we see Aykroyd and Chase go into the exam room at the same time, and they do that thing where after you, and then they go into the same time, and they're like stuck in that Three Stooges thing. And so Aykroyd looks normal, wearing a suit, and Chevy Chase is wearing an eye patch and has his arm in a cast.
Yes, and he has an explanation like, "Oh, I was caught in this accident, and I just got back from the doctor, and blah 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 blah." And we soon find out that Chevy is using these things to cheat on the exam. Right. He like pulls out his eye patch, and he's got like answers written on the inside of it. He pulls answers out of his mouth on like this little bit of paper that I guess is supposed to look like chewing gum.
Yeah, like there was actually one line that Chase had I really liked that he said to Frank Oz, the test giver, saying, "Hey, can you hold my wallet for me while I take the test? There's $1,000 in there, or maybe there isn't." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was a good line.
Yeah. It's it's Chevy Chase doing his typical Chevy Chase kind of thing. He's also got answers like hidden in his cast, and he's sitting right next to Aykroyd, and he at one point asks him, "What does KGB stand for?"
Yes. That was and that was another thing that I kind of didn't know, like, because it seemed like they had just met when they walked into that exam room at the same time. So yes. I didn't know if they were old friends or I guess they just met. But then again, it is weird to like just ask somebody, some stranger you don't know, to help you cheat on this big exam.
Yeah, they did just meet. Yeah, that is supposed to be the character's first meeting, but it's not real clear.
Got it.
So there are like cameras in the exam room, and they catch this blatant cheating. It gets even more blatant. later on, um, and so they are selected as these decoys that they need. And at this point, we are like 20 minutes into the movie, and we're still setting things up.
Right. So it's like you said, like they got caught. The two generals that were looking for decoys, they kind of give some background information on them. They say Emmett has, he's been working as an information officer. His dad got him the job, and he has basic diplomacy skills. And Austin is the repair supervisor in the code breaking at the Pentagon. He's good with hardware, and he knows some Russian. So they figure, oh, these are our two guys. This is perfect.
Yeah, they're basically competent. But I mean, Aykroyd is the only one who really displays any sort of skills in the movie. Chase's character is just pretty incompetent, from what I can see.
Yeah, Chase is just like a smooth talker, pretty
Right.
much.
Yeah, I mean that was the part that was originally written for John Belushi, and I could see John Belushi playing this part.
No, absolutely. Or even Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray would have killed it.
Yeah. I actually like with the next scene coming up with the training scene, it did kind of remind me of Stripes a little bit. It was like, oh, there's like
Yeah. We got a training sequence. Like after they're selected as the decoys, they're put into a transport plane. They're thrown out of the transport plane in parachutes, and they end up in the middle of this forest, and they're confronted by ninjas. And then they meet their trainer, who is Colonel Rhombus, who is played by the great character actor Bernie Casey.
Right. If you remember Revenge of the Nerds, he's the black dude with the deep voice.
Yes, he was like the head of the Lambda 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 fraternity, like the national head.
Yes, that would be a better way to describe him than I just described him. I mean, I'm not wrong. He is the black dude with the deep voice, but
yeah, I mean, he is undeniably a black dude with a deep voice. I mean, I cannot debate that. That is factual.
He's the other black dude that's not Lamar.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. He also, I mean, if you're a James Bond fan, he played Felix Leiter in the Bond movie Never Say Never Again.
Ooh, wow.
He was the first black Felix Leiter.
Oh, wow. That's a deep cut. I did not know that.
That's right. So Colonel Rhombus, he's very impressive. He like quickly defeats all the ninjas unarmed. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna train you." And then we got a bunch of rapid fire gags with them training for this mission.
Right. It's them. At one point, they just get hit with flamethrowers to see how much heat they can withstand.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's Army regulation, but it is in this movie.
No, that's 100% Army regulation.
Okay. And they tell them
you got the gag that you probably remember from the trailer when they're in the centrifugal force machine that spins them around really fast, and then they come out and their faces are frozen.
Yeah, I remembered as a kid. I think that was like the funniest part I remembered as a kid because it's it's a physical or visual gag.
And they do that thing where they dive into like the muddy muck while soldiers are firing at them. And one of the soldiers firing at them in this quick scene was Matt Frewer, Max Headroom, his own self.
What?
Yeah, I was watching the movie and I was like, oh, gee, that guy looks kind of like Matt Frewer. I wonder if that's Matt Frewer. And then I like looked in the credits. It was Matt Frewer.
Holy! I didn't even notice that. Mother of
Max Headroom is in this movie, ladies and gentlemen.
The Max Headroom.
The Max Headroom. The Max Headroom.
Jiminy Crickets.
I know. I just blew your mind.
You did. Kaboom. My brain's all over.
Yeah, this is a very funny sequence because it's just a lot of rapid fire gags. Like, they're at one point they're like, "Oh, we're gonna test your." I forget how they phrase it. They were gonna test your vertical something, and they just put them in a plane and they just dump it right off a tower.
Yeah, the plane just crashed to the ground, and that's the test.
Yeah. I mean, like all these tests just seem to have no point outside of like what can we construct a gag around. But it is a funny sequence. They're like dragged behind a boat.
Yeah,
and it's very funny. And Bernie Casey makes it more funny because he's just like totally deadpan, stone faced throughout.
Yeah, it's pretty cartoonish actually. Like
yeah,
the way they just
it's that trademark John Landis kind of cartoony energy.
It's good stuff.
So the two of them, they're sent. They're declared ready for their mission. They're sent to Pakistan, and again, they're dropped out of a plane. And this is one of the things that sincerely made me laugh. They're sent in an Ace Tomato Company crate that just crashes right on top of a house in the middle of Pakistan.
Yeah, again, this is like I think this is the point where I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be kind of a cartoony, silly movie. All right, I get the vibe they're putting down here.
Yeah, yeah, you're picking up what they're putting down.
Yeah, and then the door just like falls open. And it's the two of them with like a pack of beer and eating
Yeah,
like tortilla chips or something.
yeah. Aykroyd's eating tortilla chips, and the natives, of course, are like they're all. I think they're aiming machine guns at them, and Chevy Chase says at one point, like, if you let me, he says in their language, he says, if you let me go free, you may use my friend's head for polo.
Yeah, and then they're like, ah, ha, 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 and then they like grab Aykroyd's head.
Yeah,
And
and Aykroyd has no idea what has just been said.
Yeah, it's like, why are they grabbing my head? And I think Chase is like, oh no, that's how they say hello. That's a greeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, all right. And yeah, so they're supposed to meet up with their contacts, and then they meet their contacts. These two blue-eyed white guys walk up to them saying, "Hey, we're the guys you're supposed to meet." And
very preppy looking.
Yes, they even have like the sweater tied around their neck, I think.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and they're in like it's the '80s, so they're in like these pastel colors. They're looking very Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah, very Alex P. Keaton.
Yes, yes, and one of the actors, Greg Marmalon from Animal House.
I didn't even notice that. Holy Toledo!
Yeah, it was James Doughton from Animal House who played Greg Marmalon, and I was just like, oh, hey, look at that! Landis threw him another job. That's nice.
Wow, Marmalon. Whoa, Black Betty, Marmalon.
Yeah. So they go off in a Jeep with these guys, and they're driving through the desert. They're going to like their rendezvous point, or to meet their no. They think these guys are their contacts, but they turn out to not be their contacts.
Right, because
go ahead.
I was gonna say because Aykroyd wants to know what time it is. The guy shows Aykroyd the watch, and Aykroyd recognizes it as a Russian watch because he knows things like that. He's like
that's a KGB special branch duplicate of a Timex digital watch. So they get away from the guys and they steal their Jeep.
Right. The guys shoot at them, and they make a break for it.
Mm-hmm. And they decide to try and make it to the airport, and they end up hooking up with these Afghani freedom fighters.
Yeah, because they meet up with them. I think is with Aykroyd saying, "Oh no, they're allies. They're on our side." And then like that's when Chase stands up and is like, "Hey, we're Americans!" And of course, the very next scene, they're hanging up upside down by their ankles.
Yeah. That was a very funny cut where it's just we're Americans, boom, right to them. And of course, these Afghani freedom fighters, these are the beginnings of what become. Let's see, what is that called? The Taliban.
Oh yes.
So,
yeah.
Looking back on this movie, it's like, yeah, okay.
Oh.
The same thing happens in the James Bond movie, The Living Daylights. He's like, I'm gonna team up with the what were they called? The Mujahideen, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
Something like that, and you're just like, oh, this didn't age well.
Oh no, hindsight's 2020. People.
Yeah, yeah. We thought they were fine. I mean,
hindsight's 2020 in 2020.
Let's give them arms. What could go wrong?
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. So they're in this desert base camp, and one guy comes out. He's like a British guy, and he's like, "Oh, you two are obviously the two doctors that were here to help with our relief efforts." Right.
So then the doctor tells them to cut them down, and he introduces them to the other doctors who are there to help. One of the doctors being the lovely Donna Dixon. I think.
Yes.
Dan Aykroyd's wife. At this point, were they married?
Yes, they were married. They married after they were in Dr. Detroit together, so they were 100% married at this point.
Yeah, and one of the doctors there, that another director cameo, Terry Gilliam.
The lovely Terry Gilliam. Yes.
The lovely and vivacious Terry Gilliam.
Yes. Terry Gilliam is another doctor. Also in this grouping, the lovely Ray Harryhausen,
Yeah, he's also
who who is the big stop motion effects artist, from like Jason and the Argonauts and all that, like when like you're fighting skeletons or and Medusa and Clash of the Titans. Like he did all of that.
yeah. All
So
right.
he's one of the cinema greats. We also had Derek Meddings, who as Dr. Stinson, who was a miniature special effects artist who worked on Star Wars and Superman the movie.
Jesus.
So
Wow.
he did the miniatures in that movie.
Wow. Yeah. This is again. There's a lot of like inside baseball type of stuff in here, folks. A lot of
There's a
cameos.
lot of filmmakers in this movie, you
A lot of
guys.
filmmakers. Yeah. Like I mean, unless you're like a big movie nerd, you like. I guess the average person wouldn't know, but if you are, if you love your movies and you know your movies, you'd be like, "Oh, that's the visual effects artist." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't pick out Ray Harryhausen or Derek Meddings by sight, but I read that they were in this, and I was like, oh, well, that's really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it was pretty sweet.
but
And
but yeah, Donna Dixon is playing Doctor Karen Boyer, who and weirdly, even though she's married to Dan Aykroyd at this time, she plays Chevy Chase's love interest.
of course, because she's a smoking hot woman, so of course, the minute Chevy Chase sees her, he wants to bone,
She,
and
yeah, she must be with Chevy Chase, sex god.
of course, because Chevy Chase is the handsomest man in Hollywood. I mean, my God, look at that little butt chin he has.
Yeah,
It's an
exactly. I
it's an
mean,
aphrodisiac.
that slightly receding hairline. I mean, that just it drives the women wild.
Swoon.
She literally starts coming on to him immediately. She thinks he's a famous doctor, and she comes up and she's like, "Oh, doctor, I'm such a fan of your work. I've read all of your papers. We have a man here in the camp who is suffering from appendicitis. Could you operate on him? Because it would be such an honor to watch you work."
Right, and of course, Chevy puts the moves on her. At one point, he actually puts his hands on her breast because I think
Yeah,
he said, "Oh no, I can't do it," because my hands are asleep or I have no
he's
feeling.
like, "I have nerve damage to my hand, so I can't operate myself. I can't feel anything in my hand." And then he immediately puts a hand on her breast.
Yes, a la Tom Hanks in Big.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I would say that. And yeah, and but he's just. I think so. I think in order to get out of it, he said, "Well, I could operate on the man if my partner Aykroyd he can act as my hands and operate for me while I direct him on how to do it."
Yeah,
And so he just drags his buddy into it just so he can like score, and they do end up kissing, swapping spit.
yeah. She's into him for some strange reason.
he's
I don't get the Chevy Chase attraction.
he's he's the most handsome man in America. He's Chevy Chase.
I guess so. He comes off as very smug in this movie. It's that typical Chevy Chase thing that irks me, where he's just like, "Oh, I'm so funny. Look at the funny thing I just did. Wasn't that funny, you guys? Huh?"
Yeah,
And
I think we've talked about the lore of Chevy Chase. I mean, I think we even talked
yeah,
about maybe doing a whole episode about him, but it might come off mean spirited. But yeah, there is like a certain type of, like you said, smarmy smugness he has. Like I
yeah,
don't know. I mean, sometimes Bill Murray does that a little bit, but he's just a lot more likable when he does it than when
agreed.
Chevy Chase does
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I like it when Bill Murray does it better than when Chevy Chase does it.
Absolutely. And at this point, we get another cameo because as Aykroyd and Chase are talking about having to operate on this guy because Chevy Chase is trying to plow this chick. A golf ball comes out of nowhere into the tent that they're in, smashes a vase, and the golf ball was hit by one Mister Bob Hope.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Do you mind if I play through?"
Yeah, and I think that was done because I think they said that the whole Spies Like Us film was kind of an homage to those Bing Crosby, Bob Hope type of buddy movies.
Yeah, they would do like the Road to. It was a big film series. They had like Road to Morocco, Road to Road to Singapore, Road to Zanzibar, Road to Morocco, Road to Utopia, Road to Rio, Road to Bali, The Road to Hong Kong, and then there was a canceled project called Road to the Fountain of Youth. And they did these for, oh my God, 22 years, from 1940 to 1962.
God damn.
So, very successful film series.
I mean, I've never seen any of those. Like, I guess they just.
Neither have I. I know I've seen a clip of Road to Morocco where they're like singing a duet while they're riding a camel. So that is the extent of my knowledge on the road pictures.
So that's not Ishtar?
No.
Wow. All right. Yeah. Like, I guess these movies are super popular. All right. But yeah.
Ask your grandparents about them, folks.
I will. Ask your grandpappy. Yeah. So, Bob Hope comes in and it's like, oh, do you mind if I play through? And, we get a nice little Bob Hope.
That was a startling Bob Hope impression, by the way.
You like that? I've been
working on it. I like it very much.
Hey, ain't that something in that while? Yeah, I'm pretty.
So then after this we have this long drawn out scene where they're trying to fake their way through removing an appendix, where Aykroyd is literally like ducking underneath the operating table to look at a medical textbook to figure out the steps of the process.
Yeah, and of course the doctor, everybody's looking on. I think at one point Aykroyd was going to cut into the guy's chest, and then the doctor was like, "Doctor, that's awfully high to make an incision when his appendix is further down." And I think Aykroyd had to like say, "Oh, do you want to come up here and do it? Because you can just come up in here and do it."
This went on too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because it doesn't really have anything to do with the plot. It's just them doing shtick.
It has nothing at all to do with the plot. It's just them kind of sticking around.
So eventually everyone realizes they're not really doctors, and then they get away. They steal an ambulance to get away from the camp.
Right, because I think at one point one of the freedom fighters said, if he dies in your hands, then we'll kill you. And so just as he was
about... that was it. Okay, yeah. All right.
Right. And then just as he was about to make the incision, the guy that they were going to operate on just wakes up and gasps and then goes back down and dies. So
yeah,
he's dead. So
why? We don't know.
Yeah, they don't really explain that. He just had to...
I guess his appendix burst and he immediately died or something.
Right, so they didn't operate on time, so he died. So then after that, Aykroyd and Chase just kind of casually walk out of the tent and, la la la, let's get to the truck. And of course, they just go out, steal a truck while everybody runs after them and shoot at them, like a Benny Hill style.
And and we have a chase sequence where everybody is chasing after them.
Right. But then they managed to get away. Then we cut to our two men who were in the beginning of the film, Mr. Ruby and Mr. Keys, going up to this old deserted drive-in. And we see two guards who are trying to keep them away, but then they have the secret password to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And those two guards are Joel Cohen and Sam Raimi.
Yeah. I recognize Sam Raimi. It's a very young Sam Raimi, of course. And Joel Cohen from the Coen brothers.
I was like, what is this? What the hell?
And apparently Martin Brest, who did Son of a Woman, Beverly Hills Cop, and Midnight Run, he is a third guard that we can see during this sequence.
Like, did Landis just call in all his director pals and be like, hey, you want to be in my movie?
There must have just been a meeting of the Directors Guild, and Landis was like, hey, everybody, come to the set this day, and I will give you a cameo.
Yeah. I get there are an insane amount of directors in this film. It is nuts. It is bonkers. So
it is not, and so they drive the Ruby and the other one. They drive onto this deserted, shut down drive-in, and there are other guards that they meet up with. And then we have probably the most random cameo in this movie. You know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Mr. Blues, B.B. King.
B.B. King shows up.
I was like, I literally shouted out, "Is that B.B. King?"
I would get B.B. King being in one of the Blues Brothers movies. That makes sense. But why is B.B. King in a spy movie?
I was trying to find why? What? It makes no sense. I mean, you just it's.
I mean, it's fine. It's always nice to see BB King. He even has a line of dialogue. He's like, "I suggest you two men get a Pepsi."
It was so weird and random. I was like,
But it's just like, why is BB King here? I don't understand. Um,
I'm confused, but I'm also kind of impressed. That's a good way to put
yeah,
it.
it's just so freaking random. Um, so Ruby and Keys, they go into the building, and it's like this deserted cafeteria or cafe thing.
Yeah, like a refreshment stand. Or
Right. And so they go up to the soda machine, and they grab a Pepsi cup, and they're about to fill up the cup, and then an elevator springs up out of the floor and just takes them down to this underground bunker headquarters.
yeah, it's like Get Smart.
It is kind of Get Smart, yes. It's this high speed elevator and just so they're in this underground bunker, and they meet up with the generals, and that's where they are for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I think they call it WAMP, WAMP. Well, I'm not sure what that stands for, uh,
I
but
don't
yeah,
know.
they're in this underground bunker with the generals, and they get a call, and one of the
A collect call.
a collect call on a payphone.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, it's Aykroyd and Chase. They're asking to be extracted. They want us to get them out of there." And they called collect, and they're like, "Well, like they told you that over an unsecured line?" And they're like, "Oh, no. They told the operator, and the operator told us."
Oh boy, this is something else.
So it's just these are exceptionally stupid people.
Right, of course. So of course, Rubies and Keys and the general, they're all surprised that the decoys are still alive. So I think they tell them, "All right, make your way to the Soviet border and meet up with your contact there. Take the road to Dushanbe, where you'll meet your
Right.
contact there." And then they
Yeah.
figure, well, the road to Dushanbe is heavily secured and fortified. Like they'll definitely die there.
Yeah. Because their rationale is the longer we keep them out in the field, the more heat they can take from the real team, and then the real team can get their jobs done. And
Right.
so at this point, Chase and Aykroyd, they're 150 miles from the Soviet border.
Right. So of course they don't send anybody to get them. They just lead them to figure it out how to get to Pakistan from to the Soviet border.
Right.
Uh,
So they decide to sell the ambulance that they stole and get native clothing. They're going to go native, and so that when we next see them, they're in the wraps and all that.
yeah, and they're on a bus, and just take it as far as the bus will take them. And then they see the two doctors that they left behind in the other camp in a jeep driving past them.
Right. It's Hadley, and who is played by Charles McKeown. We didn't mention him before,
Oh, sorry.
and Donna Dixon, Karen Boyer.
Right. Boy, oh boyer.
Oh boy, oh boy. And actually in this sequence, there's some gorgeous scenery of the desert, man.
Yeah, and it's like visually, it's pretty impressive. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
and because it's a John Landis movie, we've got the Elmer Bernstein score, so he does like some Lawrence of Arabia type riffs, and there are some gorgeous shots at this point.
No, absolutely, absolutely. So at this point, the bus is at a is taking at a rest stop. The guys get off to stretch their legs and figure out what they're going to do next. They see Boyer and I forget the doctor who just
Hadley.
Hadley. They're packing some stuff into their jeep. No, they're packing some stuff into on horseback because they're going to go the rest of the way on horseback.
Right.
And I think Aykroyd notices that Boyer has like this really fancy, highly sophisticated espionage equipment, and that lets
Yeah.
him know, like, oh, they weren't doctors. They're actually there's a good chance that, as Chase says, they're spies like us.
Title drop.
Yeah.
Spies like us. Okay, so that explains the title, because I was a little confused about this morning. I tweeted this out from the SNL Nerds account. Or is it like, does the title mean that other people are spies the same way we are spies, or does this mean that spies as a profession in general tend to like us?
Right. So is it spies like us or
Yeah.
spies like us?
Yeah. I was confused about that, but no, it's spies like us.
And
They
actually,
are spies the same way that we are spies.
And well, actually, the spies in this movie they do like Aykroyd and Chase, so it works on both levels.
So it's a double meaning. Wow,
Right,
this movie it's like a Swiss watch in its construction, man.
right. It's there's layers upon layers upon layers, like peeling an onion, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we get a shot. This is probably another homage to the Crosby Hope Road movies where they're riding a camel together through the desert.
Right, because at
And
this
then the
point,
camel just sits down at one point, and they don't know what happened there, so they just decide to walk.
yeah, they're like, oh, we can't get this camel up. All right, let's just walk on foot through the desert to the Soviet border because
Right, right,
they're
and they have to carry all their equipment because they're going up into the mountains, and it's going to be much colder. So they have to
right,
carry all their winter equipment.
right, because like I think they figured, well, if Boyer is a spy like us, we should just follow her to see where she's going. But like you said, the camel doesn't want to go anymore, and so they lose her. So they just, I guess, kind of figure out which direction the Soviet border is, and they just start walking towards it.
They like these characters. They are as smart or as dumb as they need to be in any given scene.
Yeah, because I was saying, like, how do they know which way to go? They don't. Do they have a
Yeah,
compass or
yeah.
something?
They are just if the scene needs them to be smart, they are smart. If they need to be dumb in the scene, they are dumb. There is no consistency to it.
I guess so. Because so then we cut to them in the Soviet border, and they're both decked out in their winter wear, just like big fur hat, big fur coat, big fur pants. Just
Right.
looking, just
It's
looking.
what you see them wearing in the movie poster.
Yeah, just
And spectacularly funny costumes. They are just immediately funny in these costumes.
right. They're just looking like big old polar bears.
Right.
They get to
Ackroyd's got like several small animals just kind of hanging off of his.
yeah. It's a hoot. I'm surprised no one's ever like worn that as like a Halloween costume. I guess it'd be too hot.
It'd be a great looking Halloween costume. It might be tough to put together, but it would come off really well.
Interesting, guys. Just
So
putting it out
that's
there.
what we're doing next Halloween.
Woo!
Okay, we're not doing the Bert and Ernie anymore. We're
Oh,
doing the Spies Like Us.
all right, done and done.
Okay,
I'm calling my fur distributor right now.
absolutely.
So yeah, so they get to the road to Dushanbe. They get caught by the highway patrol. And I think at this point they split up. I think like Austin or Aykroyd makes a run for it. The guys
Yeah,
shoot at Aykroyd and they miss him, and they take Chase with them.
yeah. Chevy Chase is captured, and so Aykroyd successfully escapes, and then he runs into Donna Dixon, and then he realizes like, oh, you guys are the real spies, and we were the decoys.
Right, because they're spies like us.
Right, right. And by this point, um, Donna Dixon has been in a shootout with the Russians, and her partner Hadley got killed. So it's just Donna Dixon trying to accomplish this mission.
Right, exactly. Like you said. And then we cut back to Chase, who's being interrogated by the agents, the Russian agents, and the Highway Patrol. And
Right, right by Greg Marmalond.
yes, because you know,
From
because
Go ahead.
like we said, the KGB agents who they had to run in with in Pakistan, they show up to the interrogation. It all comes full circle.
I mean, again, just brilliant
Mm.
screenplay construction, just
Yeah,
spectacular.
and like you will
Um,
know, and I also noticed that in the interrogation room, because like they're in this cabin in the middle of nowhere, you see a Doctor Zhivago poster in the background, and that's like
oh, was it? Oh gosh, I didn't catch that.
it's there, it's
That's
there.
cute. That's cute.
Like that's cute.
I noticed
Um,
like back during the army training sequence. As long as we're talking about posters, at the barracks, there's a army recruitment poster that says "See you next Wednesday" at the bottom, which is one of John Landis's other trademarks. He always puts that line in his movies.
see you next Wednesday. Wow, I didn't know that.
See you next Wednesday. Yeah,
Ooh, all right. She's a real see you next Wednesday.
that's that's something to keep an eye out for, or keep an ear out for when you're watching a John Landis movie, as we are wont to do.
Interesting. All
Um,
right.
so Danny Aykroyd, he comes back to rescue Chevy Chase from the Soviets. there's this big gunfight. There's a grenade. There's a thing where they throw a grenade and Chevy Chase picks it up and he's like, "Oh, what's this?" And Aykroyd just is like, "You don't want it," and Chevy Chase throws it back to the cabin where it was thrown from it, and it crashes through the window right into the box of grenades. So the two Russian guards are like, "Oh, let's get out," and then we have things blowing up because it's a movie from the 1980s and you want things to blow up.
Things got to blow up real good.
You were legally required to blow up at least one thing in a movie in the 1980s.
That's right. That's why Ghostbusters had that explosion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Vacation had an explosion in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Things got to get blowed up.
Out of Africa, explosions.
Goonies. I'm sure
Goonies,
there's an explosion in there somewhere.
Explosions. Yeah. Terms of Endearment. Many explosions in that movie.
Oh my God! Just kaboom! Guess who stepped in the room?
Yeah. The Big Chill. Big explosion.
Bing bang boom. Ordinary people. Just
ordinary people. Yeah. Explosion. You thought Deborah Winger died of cancer? No, she exploded.
I mean, my God. I mean, Kramer versus Kramer. Tootsie. Just all the explosions you could want.
That's right. Yeah. So many explosions in 80s movies, you guys.
I mean, my God, it's like a Michael Bay joint.
Exactly. So we've rescued Chevy Chase from the Soviets. They managed to meet up with Boyle again, Donna Dixon, and they find the missile site.
Right.
And they see like this group of 5 Russians soldiers who are there, and they're dancing to Soul Finger from the Bar-Kays.
Fantastic song.
That is a great song. And, of course, because it's Dan Aykroyd, he's like, "Oh, I know this blues song. I can identify this blues song in 3 notes."
Yeah, I think, because Aykroyd said, "Oh, that's Soul Finger by the Bar-Kays," and Chase says, "Oh, they must be having a hard time getting gigs."
Yeah, I really like that joke. It's a dumb joke, but it made me laugh.
There's a lot of, it's a good one. I think I'll give Chase his due when it's like that was good.
Yeah, that was a good thing. And so they spy on this little Russian encampment. These are the guys who are guarding the missile that we saw being set up in the opening scene of the movie. And as we see them spying on the encampment, we see one of the other actresses in this movie. I thought she was going to be one of the leads, but no, she really just kind of has a bit part at the end. It's Vanessa Angel, who you probably remember from the movie Kingpin, and they made the TV series out of Weird Science, and she played the genie part.
Yes, she was in. I'm looking up her IMDb right now. This was her first film role. She was also in King of New York with Christopher Walken, and of course the seminal classic "Stop or My Mom Will Shoot."
Oh well, I mean, so I did not know that she was in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, but apparently she was like all of 18 when she was in this movie.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, now.
Yeah, and she steps out, and again, because it's an 80s movie, she's like, the hot Russian lady, and she like steps out of her tent, and she is like literally just in her underwear with her snowsuit around her ankles, and just like stretches out. And I don't know if that is a thing that is ever done.
I've never been to the USSR, but I would imagine you'd want to stay bundled up 24/7. You don't like sleeping you don't sleep in your skivvies inside a tent. And
I know the winter air can be like bracing and perhaps refreshing, but I don't think you would waddle out in your snowsuit and just be like, "Oh, let me just stretch and be in my hot lacy underwear."
Yeah, I mean, I know, of course, that scene is just for the dudes in the audience. It's like, hey guys,
it's a little bit of it's a little bit of TNA we're throwing in towards the end of the movie. And you know what? As long as we're talking about this moment, it might be a good time for me to play a little sound clip that I found.
Ooh.
I got a sound clip. Darren doesn't know about this. I'm surprising him with this. This is from the Siskel and Ebert review of Spies Like Us from their show at the movies. And it's quick. It's only about 40 seconds. So I'm going to play that now. So this is, they're talking about the scene where Vanessa Angel steps out of the winter tent in her underwear. So here we go. Starting this.
I want you to give me permission here to be kind of human for a second, if that's be a novelty.
Yeah, thank you. You took the words out of my mouth.
What did you think about Vanessa Angel?
This is the well-developed woman at the end.
She is the Russian, one of the Russians at the end of the movie. That face, that figure, I'm telling you, I don't know who she is, but sometimes this is one of the reasons we go to the movies, not just to appreciate great cinematic art,
no kidding.
Occasionally to feel great cinematic lust. Yeah. She's a very attractive woman.
And she occurs at the end of the movie. So, Roger, think about it. You admit that the beginning is great. You're lusting after this woman at the end. Give it a thumbs up.
It's the middle.
Give it a
it's
thumbs
the middle
up.
that doesn't make it. So much for this week. Now let's.
So, Roger Ebert was really pervy, you guys.
Roger Ebert, you are canceled.
I mean,
wow.
Now, I mean, keep in mind, Roger Ebert, he is a man who wrote a movie with Russ Meyer. He wrote Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
All right, so this tracks.
He is a connoisseur of the female form, let us say.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, look, we're both, red-blooded, heterosexual men, and like, I get it, but it's still.
I mean, she does look great, and all, but I mean, it's just, oh my God, Roger Ebert.
Yeah, like I wouldn't go as far as he was like, I don't know, easy boy.
This is like, over the course of maybe like a 5-minute movie review, Roger Ebert's like, hey, I better mention that chick with the huge rack at the end.
Yeah, like
I got him to the point of mentioning that.
He was like, God, going. Oh, I mean that whole 18 thing now, that's like, oh, I didn't know that. That's
yeah, she was like 18 or 19. She was like pretty young. She was a model, and I believe this was her movie debut.
Yipes.
But I mean, she went on to have a decent career. She's very funny in Kingpin, I think.
Yeah. People, I totally didn't know she was in Kingpin. I didn't put those two, didn't connect those dots.
Yeah. She plays Woody Harrelson's girlfriend.
Yeah, she's the hot chick in that movie. Yeah,
and she was the hot chick in Weird Science. She was actually going to originally be Xena on Hercules: The Legendary Journeys, but she had to pull out of the role due to illness, and then the role went on to Lucy Lawless.
Interesting. I'm gonna say that was a better fit. I think.
I mean, yeah, who knows how good or bad Vanessa Angel's Xena would have been, but so
that's true. Wow, we've gone on. That was I was not expecting that audio. Holy hell!
Yeah, that's something, right?
That is something. Like I was like, Ebert, the cameras are rolling, right?
Yeah, Roger, maybe say that to Gene off camera.
Yeah, this ain't locker room talk, buddy. We're on. The red light is on. We're
1985. I mean, it relatively speaking, it wasn't that long ago. In some ways, it was like a million years ago.
Yeah, I can't imagine like a film critic being like, "Hey, this movie wasn't great, but that one chick, right?
I just find that so amusing. So we.
Where were we? What the hell are we talking about?
Where were we? They're staking out the Russian camp. Donna Dixon gives them tranquilizer darts for some reason to complete their mission because she's like, we're not going to kill anybody. I didn't get that. I didn't get why suddenly she's like, oh, we're not going to kill anybody. I mean, I guess because we don't want our heroes murdering people in cold blood at the end of the movie. But
right, because we're Americans. We don't kill. Well.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we're the good guys, so we never do anything bad.
Right now, that's what G.I. Joe taught me. But yeah, because like their mission is to subdue the crew, not kill the crew, and like seize control of the rocket.
Yeah, I don't get why they had to subdue the crew. Did they need them for something later on? This is where I started to lose the plot threads of this movie.
Oh, this is where they lost the thread?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I was distracted by Vanessa Angel in her underwear, like Roger Ebert was. But
of course, as you do.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, so they come up with this diversion because they have to get close enough to use the tranquilizer darts. So they come up with this diversion where they dress up as aliens.
And that's where I was like, Aykroyd wrote that because, as we all know, Aykroyd is fascinated by, UFOs and paranormal stuff. So I was like, that seems like an Aykroyd add-in.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. So they're able to take out all the Russians. and then they get up to the missile, and then they're able to hack into the missile and reprogram it.
Right.
And then I think the plan is to fire the missile into the San Andreas Fault to make half of California fall into the ocean, so that all of the worthless desert land that Lex Luthor bought will now be valuable beachfront property.
Whoa! Did we see the same movie? I don't think they mentioned Lex Luthor.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. That's the plot of Superman the movie.
I see. Oh,
they started reprogramming a missile. My brain just went there.
It's fair enough. Fair enough.
I apologize.
It's what we were all thinking. You were just saying what we were all thinking.
Otisburg. Otisburg.
Woo! Wow.
It's a little bitty place. Miss Tessmacher, she has her own place.
Did we mention we're nerds, everybody?
Yeah. That was for you, Rob Kelly. So let's see. So they reprogram the missile. They fire the missile. I didn't quite get what they were trying to accomplish here.
I think what happened is once they got control of the missile, the rocket, they called into WOMP, their bosses,
the underground bunker.
The underground bunker. The bunker gave them instructions. They followed those instructions, and it ended up launching the rockets. I think they weren't expecting that. I think they were expecting to disarm the rocket, but their bosses, the general, had other plans that they didn't tell them.
So they didn't think they were going to launch the rocket.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think they thought it was going to disarm it, but they didn't know they were launching it. Because after that, I think Chase says, "Oh, I think we just started World War III."
Right.
So
and that wasn't quite clear to me. I was like, well, what did you think was going to happen? You were punching in new coordinates. I think that could have been clearer, that they thought they were going to disarm or disable the rocket in some way.
Yeah, so it turns out the rocket is going to hit the United States, and I think the generals want to start another war.
Right.
This part,
and I was also unclear why the generals wanted to start a war. Apparently, General Keyes, he gives a speech about our stockpile of nuclear weapons was self-defeating. We had to show that we had the technical ability. I don't know. I didn't. He sort of explained it, but I still didn't quite get it.
Yeah, me neither. This part kind of lost me. I was like, all right, I'll win along with it, but yeah, I didn't understand exactly why he would want a rocket to hit the U.S.
Yeah, I didn't get what the benefit was in starting World War III for this guy, because it's a nuclear war. There's no real benefit.
Yeah, and maybe he has a bunch of "I survived World War III" and all I got was this lousy T-shirts that he just.
That's the only possible explanation, obviously.
I mean, selling T-shirts is quite lucrative.
Lucrative T-shirt business. Okay, that's headcanon now.
Right.
Okay, so Aykroyd, he does some calculations, and he's like, well, it's going to be 28 minutes before the rocket detonates at its target, and then he figures some time for how long it'll take Americans to retaliate against the Russians. And so Aykroyd finally says, we have 42 minutes until the end of civilization as we know it.
So at this point, the Russians wake up, and everybody realizes what's going to happen. Oh my God, I think we started another war.
Right.
So let's all go have sex.
Yeah, Chevy Chase, he hears that the world is ending in 42 minutes, so he, of course, takes the opportunity to hit on Donna Dixon and say, want to go out with a bang.
And she's cool with it. She's like, normally if we were in a bar, I'd throw a drink in your face. But under these under these conditions, I say let's do it.
Let's go off and have sex, Chevy Chase, because you are a sex god, and the world is ending in 42 minutes. I mean, on one hand, I guess I can kind of see it, shoot your shot. What the hell do you have to lose?
Yeah. But it's just, oh boy.
He picks his moments. I'll give him that.
Yeah, shooters got to shoot.
So then after Chase and Donna Dixon go, the other Russians pair off. There's one woman goes off with one of the guys, and then the two Russian guys that are left, they pair off. They give each other the eye, and they're like, "Oh, let's go off and have sex," because it's 1985, and the somebody being gay is hilarious.
Just two dudes doing it. That's crazy.
Can you imagine?
Oh, love is love.
Love is love. So that just leaves Aykroyd with the pretty Russian who played by Vanessa Angel, and they make eyes at each other, and they decide to go off together.
Yeah, so everybody's boning right before the end of the world.
Big old bone fest.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't know. Something tells me, like in real life, that might be how it goes down. Everybody's just like, all right, let's get this nut off before it all goes kablooey.
Who knows? I'm sure that's going to be happening somewhere if people have forewarning. I would be hoping that the people in the espionage agencies and the military would not immediately just start boning, but
you don't know what they're going to do over there. I'm sure they have like secret boning rooms for when this all goes down.
Again, we're getting very Doctor Strangelove at the end of this.
Yeah,
apparently, by the way, this movie was originally supposed to end with the world ending.
Yeah.
But test audiences didn't like that. They felt the world ending was kind of a downer. So,
what? I mean,
so they rewrote and reshot an ending and where they saved the world. Spoilers.
We'll get into it. It's coming up. But yeah, I can see that because like the way it ended, like everything wrapped up really quickly and really neatly, like almost too neatly.
Yeah. So we cut to outer space. We got the missile going, and then we got the lasers from the missile defense system, the Star Wars missile defense system, but they missed the rocket, and they instead blow up a random satellite, which turns out to be MTV's satellite. And we cut to MTV going out and teenagers around the nation reacting to that.
Yeah, like I thought that scene was like, oh, is this them kind of giving the middle finger to MTV? Because, this is back when it was a new thing. And so this is just like the old comedy guard being like, these young kids with their MTV, it sucks. Bleh.
I didn't think it was so much a critical comment on MTV as it was just like, oh, teenagers love MTV, and it's a big topical reference because MTV it's 1985 and MTV is the big thing.
Oh yeah, I guess maybe. But see, well, that's also another thing. So I didn't understand why. I think they called it the Pulse because like the Pulse was supposed to be shot from WAMP, the headquarters, and it's supposed
the thermonuclear pulse. You mean?
Yeah, I think it was supposed to hit the rocket and blow it up. But I thought the plan was to have the rocket blow up on U.S. soil. So like, which is it?
I don't know. Maybe it was enough for them to have an attempted detonation so that they could sell all the T-shirts.
It all comes down to the T-shirts.
I don't know.
All right.
So and that's when the general gives the speech about here's what I was hoping to do, or here's why I'm doing this thing that didn't make much any sense to me. Honestly, the T-shirt thing would make more sense to me.
It's a solid it's a solid theory. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah. Okay, so then we cut back to the Russian camp, like post-boning.
Post-coitus.
Post-coitus. Dan Aykroyd is like, oh, it's funny. It's only been 15 minutes since the world came to an end. And then he has this sudden realization that they can divert the missile.
Right, because I think he talks about how his guidance counselor thought he would amount to nothing. And he was
like, yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah, guidance? Hey, wait a minute. And then that's when he he runs out in like his like long Ebenezer T-shirt.
Yeah, he's got like a big nightshirt on.
Nightshirt, yeah. And then he wakes up everybody saying, hey, wake up. And then he goes and gets...
And by the way, okay, so the missile launches at like 4:15 in the morning. It is pitch black. And then when we cut back to Aykroyd, he says it's literally been 15 minutes. So, enough time for everybody to bone. and then they get up out of the tent, and then suddenly it's like midday.
That's another thing, because the
sun rose in 15 minutes, and it looks like it's like 11 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because Aykroyd said like the whole thing was going to take a half hour, right? Or something like that. So they went off, had their sexy time, fell asleep. The sun rose, and they all woke up within the span of 15 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I'll I'll
I
bite.
mean, I don't know if anybody actually fell asleep. I think they're just sort of relaxing in their little
Uh,
post-sexy time.
right, just basking in the afterglow.
Exactly. They weren't smoking cigarettes or anything. But, maybe they ship supplies were short, but apparently it was good for him because the Russian lady Vanessa Angel, she's still snuggling up to Dan Aykroyd and kind of kissing him, and she's be like, "Oh, you sexy man, you're
Yeah.
no Chevy Chase sex god, but
But you'll do.
yeah, apparently Vanessa Angel was very happy with Dan Aykroyd."
Yeah, apparently. Uh,
So So
so
Aykroyd realizes they can divert the missile, and he runs out and gets everybody together, and they got to get all the technical know-how to do this.
yeah, so basically they get like a rock and like all the wires and buzzers and flips and switches and lights and doodads and thingamabobs
Right.
and watchahoos.
He tells Chevy Chase, like, hold these two wires together. Chevy Chase is like, oh, I'm getting a shock, and he's like, yes, you're going to. You have to hold these two wires together. You're acting as the circuit breaker.
Yeah,
So
he's the circuit bridge to it, and
right,
sure enough, they're able to re-guide it, and it blows up in outer space. Just
yeah.
that easy.
Mm-hmm. All you need to do is have Chevy Chase hold two wires together, and rockets blow up.
And yeah, and then they save the day. They cut back to the base, the Wamp base. We see there's a security breach, and it's the U.S. Army. They bust into the joint and arrest everybody.
Yeah,
just like that.
Because they're no goodniks. And honestly, at this point, would have really loved to see is I would have loved to see like Bernie Casey coming back to lead the troops.
Yeah, I was really expecting like some big general, like his superior coming in, like some cameo by some dude saying like
this would be a perfect spot for a cameo.
Yeah, like I don't know, like Kubrick or something, like another director that was.
Have Steven Spielberg come in and arrest everybody. Yeah. I mean, he was in Blues Brothers. He probably would have done it.
Yeah, he already has the beard.
Yeah, exactly.
Like hey, arrest this guys.
Yeah,
that's my Spielberg impression.
That was a wonderful Spielberg, by the way.
Yeah. Like, hey guys, you guys are under arrest.
But I would have loved to see Bernie Casey come back because I was just like this movie needs a little more Bernie Casey.
Yeah, absolutely. So and then we cut to a like a what is it like a TV broadcast of the disarmament talks between U.S. and Russia.
Right.
It's by Edwin Newman is broadcasting, and then he talks
real life broadcaster Edwin Newman.
Right, and he talks to Emmett, who is now the chief U.S. delegate.
Right,
talking, in the disarmament talks between U.S. and Russia.
He's involved with some heavy duty negotiations. Chevy Chase steps out of the room and he's like, "Well, we're at a very delicate stage. I mean, it's very touchy. Things could go wrong at any moment."
Right. So then he goes back, and we see that they're actually with the same Russians they were with before, the guys that they knocked out with the tranquilizer guns. But it's cool because they're all friends now. Because they all
everybody got to bone, so everybody's friends.
Yeah, once they get the juices out, they're in a more mellow state of mind.
They get the juices out.
What?
Oh, what a way to phrase it!
It's like, oh, now I can think with a clear head. I got the juices out. And yeah.
So of course, and because it's 1985, what are they doing? They're not negotiating like missile placements and stuff. They're playing Trivial Pursuit.
Of course, and and we see Emmett has Donna Dixon. He has his girl. Dan Aykroyd has his 18-year-old Russian bride, apparently. And,
I don't think she ever gets a name. She's just, hot Russian lady.
I believe so. Yeah, she's just like nameless boobs. And then and then they're all they win. They're all playing Trivial Pursuit and
and apparently like when you win a question in this game of Trivial Pursuit, you have to remove missiles from a certain territory.
Right. So it's like Risk and Trivial Pursuit.
Right. So this weird combo thing. So I mean this is like the most 1980s movie ending ever, I think.
Yeah, very much so. It's just
because Trivial Pursuit, it was a huge thing in 1985. If you weren't around in 1985, I don't know if you could really understand what a big trend Trivial Pursuit was.
I mean, the only way it could be more 80s is if they were like playing Simon or something while they were doing
it. Or if everyone was wearing leg warmers and doing lines of cocaine while playing it.
Oh, Dare to Dream.
But I mean, this is like one of the most 1980s movies I have ever seen. It's got the Cold War, it's got the Star Wars missile defense system, it's got MTV, it's got Max Headroom, and it ends with Trivial Pursuit. I mean, and it's got explosions and gratuitous boobage.
Yeah, it's pretty 80s. It's pretty 80s, and that's the
Very
film.
1980s.
And that's the film. Then they cut to the credits, and then well, I mean, we it's time to debut. Time to talk about the big thing. We get a song called "Spies Like Us" by one Mr. Paul McCartney.
I've heard of him.
He's done
I've heard of him. Yes, he is. He was a Beatle.
He was one of those guys. He did a few things.
He was a wing in Wings.
He was a wing. He was a Beatle.
He was one of the wings.
Yeah. Yeah, and this, I mean, you knew about this before I did, because I totally forgot about this song, this Spies Like Us song.
This is kind of, it's an obscure Paul McCartney song because he hasn't re-released it much. It was on like a soundtrack album. I think it was like a B-side on, or no, it was released as a single. It was an A-side on a single, but he's never put it in any of his like greatest hits albums or anything, even though it reached number 7 on the Billboard singles chart in early 1986, and it was his last top 10 hit in the U.S. until 2015 when he collaborated with Kanye.
Yeah, and there's a video for it directed by John Landis and has cameos by Aykroyd and Chase. And
yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know this was like number 7. That's pretty great for a single. I don't know
and
why.
It reached number 13 in the UK.
Yeah, so why the hell didn't he put this out? How come it's not on like any of his best of albums or anything like that?
I'm guessing he doesn't like this song anymore. In retrospect, apparently he has never played it live in concert. It wasn't released on CD until 1993 as a part of the Paul McCartney collection, as a bonus track on the album Press to Play.
Wow.
And yeah, and I think it came out on iTunes, but yeah, it's nuts. Paul McCartney, I found a quote from Paul McCartney where he talks about the genesis of this song. He just goes, John Landis rang me up and said he wanted an up-tempo rock and roll thing. I thought I might have done a Bondy type song, 75-piece orchestra, more melodic, with maybe an Eastern touch, the known ingredients for a spy type of song. But I think one of the fun things about what I'm doing now is varying those things a bit. So that was a quote from him from the press release from Paul McCartney.
Was Paul McCartney in the room with us right now?
He was. That was a sound clip of Paul McCartney.
Oh, I love you, Mr. Paul McCartney. You're great. Band on the run.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much, Dan. You know, I quite like what you two do too.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God,
it's quite good. You know, I listen to the podcast. I enjoy the podcast. It's quite a good podcast.
Oh, please rate and review.
I will.
Woo! Oh, I'm fangirling.
I'm gonna go on the iTunes and write up a review for you.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. And I am, that would mean the world to me. I'm about to fade right now. My Lord.
Yeah. But okay, should we talk about the video first, or should we talk about the lyrics of the song first? Because I want to talk about both of these.
Yeah. Actually, did we mention that Michael Apted was in this movie too? Who's another director?
We did not mention Michael Apted. There are so many director cameos we missed that Michael Apted, who just recently passed away.
Oh shit! I'm looking at that IMDb right now. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, R.I.P. Michael Apted. He's the director of James Bond film, The World Is That Enough, Coal Miner's Daughter, Nell, Gorillas in the Mist. R.I.P. Michael Apted.
But I think he is most remembered for his cameo in Spies Like Us.
Of course, that was the crowning achievement.
Yeah.
Like when you think of Michael Apted, you think of Spies Like Us.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, back to the video.
But this song, in the Wikipedia entry for this song, it says as of 2020, the song is no longer available for streaming on Apple Music's Spotify or Amazon Music.
I mean, is that from?
This is a Beatle. This is a top 10 song by a Beatle, and it is not available on any of those services.
I mean, did this request come from up high? That like Paul McCartney was like, yeah, I don't want I don't want anybody to know
I
about this.
gotta think that Paul McCartney just no longer likes this song and doesn't want it out there. Because
I
why
guess.
would you not? That just boggles my mind. And I think it's a good song. I think it's a perfectly fine pop song.
Yeah, it's a catchy little bouncy number.
It's a catchy, bouncy number. I mean, it's not like Sgt. Pepper's, but it's a good pop song.
Well, I think maybe it might be because of the video. Because like I did notice. Well, in the video we see, was it Paul McCartney and Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase? They're like wearing disguises, hanging out like around like Abbey Road. And I think
Yeah.
at one point Paul McCartney's wearing this weird disguise where it looks like he's like in like yellow face. Because like his skin.
You thought it was, well, like when he had the big mustache?
No. Before that, he has like these glasses, and the eyes look kind of Asian, like I'll say.
I didn't get that. I will have to take another look at that. I wasn't getting anything racial from that, but okay.
I could have maybe I misread it, but it looked kind of like a little problematic. So maybe that's why he didn't want it out there. But
I don't know.
but yeah. So like in the video, it's basically those three guys: Aykroyd, Chase, and Paul McCartney, just like kind of sneaking around
Right.
Abbey Road and going into the studio, all wearing disguises and fake mustaches. And then, so they're in the studio. Paul McCartney takes off his disguise. We see it's
It's
him.
Prince Charles mask.
Yes, exactly. It's Prince Charles mask.
Right.
And he's like performing the song "Spies Like Us." He's also playing drums at the same time and bass. So it's like a
Right.
whole. It's like that Outcast "Hey Ya" video where Andre 3000 was all the members of the band. It's like
Well,
that.
it's also like another video that Paul McCartney did. It's like the video for Coming Up, where Paul McCartney was playing every member of his own band. And he apparently, at this point in his career, he was playing all of his own instruments. So that was the thing. But he's in the video, like he's cutting, we cut to Paul McCartney playing the guitar or singing the vocals or playing the drums, and he's in a different outfit in each one.
Right.
And that's a thing I find weird. It's like, this is a thing that you have already done in one of your other videos.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's do it again.
So Paul McCartney was just like, yeah, I'm going to do this again. And
this is the sequel.
Yeah.
The spiritual
and we have Dan Aykroyd in the control booth. He's at the sound mixing board, like apparently because he's producing this album. Yeah. And we also have Chevy Chase in the studio.
Yeah, he's just kind of goofing about.
He's goofing around, and here's another weird thing. There are two different cuts of this video.
Yeah, like when you pointed that out, I was like, why are there two different cuts?
There is another cut of this video with we see Chevy Chase. He's playing keyboards in this, and again, that's a thing that is done in another video. It's like it was done in Paul Simon's video for "You Can Call Me Al," but this I think predates "You Can Call Me Al."
Yeah, like that. Yeah, "You Can Call Me Al" was like late 80s. This is early.
Or yeah, that was like 86, 87, I think.
Yeah.
But there's and they're also in this alternate version. We see Donna Dixon and Vanessa Angel. They are pretending they're singing backup on the single.
Oh, some eye candy for this.
Yeah. But okay, so apparently, let me find this because this is weird. Okay, so I found this on a website called the Paul McCartney Project. Okay, so it says the video for the song, directed by John Landis, who also directed the film, was not aired by the BBC because Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase appeared in it playing instruments. British labor rules at the time prohibited non-musicians from performing in videos, and Aykroyd and Chase did not actually play on the record, although both have worked as professional musicians.
Really? They could play instruments?
Well, yeah. I mean, Chevy Chase, his Twitter bio lists him as like an actor and musician.
Oh, I did not know.
It says actor, writer, musician, husband, father, and tremendous slouch.
Oh, he's a jack of all trades.
And and Dan Aykroyd also lists musician in his little his Twitter bio, and he has a music background with Blues Brothers, and remember he was in the "We Are the World" video.
Holy shit! I totally forgot.
You remember that?
Kinda,
Like you're
yeah.
seeing all these huge people from the music world. There's Michael Jackson. There's Quincy Jones. There's Huey Lewis. There's Bruce Springsteen. And then suddenly they're like, wait, was that Dan Aykroyd? What is Dan Aykroyd doing?
I mean, Dan Aykroyd is one of the musical greats.
It's so weird. And it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, it's nice he's there because that was for charity and all that. But it's like, wait, why is Dan Aykroyd there?
Why is he sharing a stage with Willie Nelson and Tina Turner and Michael Jackson
And Cyndi Lauper and Jackson Brown and
Springsteen and like Bob Dylan? I think too was in it. Like
yeah, Bob Dylan. He sings the verse.
Like the behemoth of music, and then there's Dan Aykroyd.
And okay, so we got this rule that like non-musicians can't perform in music videos. Was anybody actually going to think that Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase actually played on this single?
I don't even know. I don't know what people were thinking. Would be thinking.
So apparently that's why the video was re-edited and it removes them. There's still like some shots of Chevy Chase like behind a microphone, but he never actually sings. And we also took out Vanessa Angel and Donna Dixon because I guess we're not supposed to think that they actually sang on the single.
Wow. So that's why they had to redo the whole. Interesting.
I'm guessing, yeah. It's just the weirdest thing. Like we can't air this video in the UK because of this.
I mean, I guess I get it. It's an odd rule, but I was like, all right.
I honestly want a documentary about the making of this music video because it is so insane.
VH1, get on it. They're still doing music, right?
I want to know all about this. And
holy moly! All right, yeah, because like again, you told me about this video, and I totally forgot about it, and I watched it, and I was like, I don't have any recollection of this. I can't find it anywhere now, but I was like, I think my life is
like
better.
The video is on YouTube. That is about it. That is about the only way you can listen to this song these days because it is not on any streaming services. And again, a song by an ex-Beatle.
Yeah, like why would people not want to hear this? Like, it had to be just because Paul didn't like it anymore. It's like, oh no.
I guess, but he has done worse songs than this.
Ooh, top. Yep. All right, what's another?
Well, hey, have you ever heard "Christmas Time Is Here Again"?
It's simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah.
Or
the Beatles song, the Christmas time. But simply having a wonderful Christmas time, that is also crap.
I like it. I still like it because there's some nostalgia for me for it because it came out when I was a kid. But I'm sure if it came out like now, when I'm a grown ass man, I'd be like, yeah, that song sucks.
That's kind of like this movie.
Yeah, very much.
I think I would have enjoyed this movie more when I was 13.
Yeah. Like
as an adult, I'm just like, oh, well, okay, that's a thing that I watched.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think I remember watching this when I was a kid, and I thought like the only thing I remember about it were the funny faces they make after they get out of the G-force machine. I was like, oh, that's funny because it's the funny face, and of course, boobs. But like as I watch it now, as I think this film's all right. It does have a few good laughs here and there, but ultimately it is pretty, kind of ridiculous and silly. And that ending, the way everything just wraps up nice and neatly, that
it's such a random ending. It's such a weird out of nowhere ending. Yeah. He literally just wakes up and is like, "Hey, I can divert the missile."
Yeah, it really did.
I forgot about it for 15 minutes while I was having sex.
Yeah, it felt so tacked on, that ending, and I find out now it's because it was.
Yeah, it's 100%. Should we read some of the lyrics from the song "Spies Like Us"?
Let's do it.
Because apparently McCartney, he just like was given the title "Spies Like Us." I don't think he was told much about the plot of the movie, so they are just very random lyrics that don't have much to do with the movie. So we're going to go decomposition podcast on this.
Oh, shout out to Brad and Katie.
Yeah, hi Brad and Katie. So okay, ooh, what do you do? No one else can dance like you. So it's a song called "Spies Like Us," and we're already talking about someone's dancing abilities.
I'm with it. Keep going.
Yeah. So what's all the fuss? There ain't nobody that spies like us. I personally had always heard this as there ain't nobody but spies like us. But Apparently, it's that Spies Like Us.
Okay, keep going.
Hey, what do you say? Someone took your plans away. There are no stolen plans at any point in this movie.
But maybe like it's yeah, no. Okay, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't defend it.
So
Go ahead.
what's all the fuss? There ain't nobody that spies like us. Hey,
Okay.
don't feel afraid of an undercover aide. There's no need to fuss. There ain't nobody that spies like us.
Did he write?
Then they go ahead.
Did he write these lyrics like on the way to the studio?
He probably did. Yes.
He's like, oh damn it, I need lyrics.
It's such a catchy song. It doesn't really matter. I mean,
Yeah,
I enjoy listening to it, and I only said I listened to the lyrics. So, next we don't know the meaning of fear. We play every minute by ear. Okay, that's accurate. One for all and all for one. Apparently, Paul McCartney just ran out of things to say about the Spies. I'm going to start talking about the Three Musketeers. One for all and all for one. Everybody's on the run, especially at this time of year.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What does the seasons have to do with any of this?
The movie was released in December, but I don't think they ever note the time of year in the movie.
Yeah.
And what does the time of year have to do with spying or being on the run?
You know, like during the holidays, everybody's on the run, right?
I mean, he was just like, I need a rhyme for fear and ear. What's another word that rhymes with those? Year. Okay, especially at this time of year. Mm-hmm. Next verse. Ooh, what do you do? No one else can dance like you. So what's all the fuss? Ain't nobody but spies like us. That got spies like us. So now we are bragging about our spies.
Yeah, which you
who
should
apparently can dance like no one else.
Yeah, you shouldn't be bragging about your spies or secret. You're supposed to be.
And again, no dance sequence in this movie at any point.
Yeah, like I mean, they kind of bounce around, which I guess for some white guys that is dancing.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure, okay. Hey, what do you say? No one else can look that way. So what's all the fuss? There ain't nobody got spies like us.
It's does he rhyme us with any other word rather than fuss?
He rhymed it with fuss.
Okay.
He rhymes fuss and us. Yeah.
That's it, right?
No, it is always us rhyming with fuss.
Like he didn't use the word bus or cuss, discuss.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a bus in the movie.
Yeah, it's right there, man. Did you see the movie, Paul McCartney?
I don't think he saw much of the movie.
We sent you a screener.
Now here's this next lyric kind of makes me wonder. He says, "We get there by hook or by crook." Now this was a phrase that was used on the 1960s spy show The Prisoner. So now I hear this and I'm thinking, is Paul McCartney a fan of The Prisoner?
Ooh, layers.
I would love that if he were, because it's a very cool show. He just says, "We get there by hook or by crook. We don't do a thing by the book. Never needed special clothes." Again, blatantly untrue. They wear special clothes throughout this movie.
They wear the big furs.
They wear the big fur. They go undercover in Pakistan, and they're wearing the headdress and all that. They're in the burqas. Never needed special clothes. How we did it, no one knows. I guess we must have had what it took.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. And then we have the little refrain or bridge. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, when things get tough. Oh, when things get tough. Guys like us act rough. Guys like us act rough. I don't think they ever act rough over the course of this movie.
Well, you could say when Aykroyd saved Chase, he was acting kind of rough because he was shooting at everybody. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, suddenly he was like a badass. He says like, "Oh, I guess I must really like you because I hate guns and I hate
horses."
And I hate horses, right? And he comes in, he's like firing machine guns off horses. Again, the movie has given us no indication that Dan Aykroyd has any familiarity with firearms or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's a thing he can suddenly do.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, because when he went to go save Chase, he just came in. He came in on horseback, 2 Uzis, just shooting off like I don't know what.
Do we even see any firearms training during their training sequence?
No,
I don't think we do. We just see them getting shot at and dragged by stuff and crashing.
Yeah, but somehow he just turns into Rambo out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, and now I've never fired a machine gun while riding horseback, but I would imagine that is a tough thing to do because you're galloping along, you're riding up and down. It's got to be tough to aim.
Yeah, I mean, again, I have never done that as well, but I'd imagine it'd be a little tricky,
Yeah,
hard
but
on
maybe it doesn't matter so much because you're firing a machine gun. So
yeah. I mean, there are no spies like us.
yeah, okay. So we got one more verse. It's hey hey, what do you say? Someone took your plans away. Again, no plans are stolen at any point in the film. So what's all the fuss? There ain't nobody that spies like us. Spies like us. And then there's a minute thing at the end that's just them singing "Spies like us"
Yeah,
over and over. And the weird thing is the version they use on the closing credits. They take the end part of the song and they put it on the beginning because I guess they thought that was catchier.
I could see that.
And then it goes back to the beginning of the song.
Yeah, I mean, the chorus is definitely doing a lot of heavy lifting in this song.
It's a catchy song. It's a catchy. I like the song. I can listen to it multiple times and not get sick of it. But
Spies like us. It is super catchy. Yeah,
it is super catchy, and they do a cute thing in the video where they do where they're walking across Abbey Road at night, and then they're all caught in spotlight.
Yeah, so it looks like a cross between Abbey Road and the Band on the Run album cover.
Oh yeah, it is kind of like the Band on the Run cover. I hadn't made that connection, but and they obviously went to the care to park a white Volkswagen Beetle at the right spot.
Oh shit! I didn't even notice that.
And Aykroyd is barefoot, just like Paul was on the Abbey Road cover. So there are little Beetle Easter eggs there.
Beetle Easter egg. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Holy moly!
Yeah, it's we posted the video on our Twitter page, so check it out, please, and enjoy the insanity.
Yeah, and speaking of Twitter, we did get a few tweets about this thing.
Yeah,
like I said before, a lot more people have good feelings about this movie than I thought. Like I was actually pretty kind of surprised. I was like, whoa,
pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised. So actually, where is it? I have it. Oh, here we go. All right, so we got one tweet from Manette Maradi, fan of the show, saying the line about the Afghani Mujahideen being an ally aged horribly, but at the same time makes a great dark joke in retrospect, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, so it's sort of an inadvertent joke.
Right. Casey Killingsworth says someone on the Family Guy writing staff was clearly a fan of this one, which we also mentioned. Steve Harold said, "This is my copy of the script," and he sent a picture of a signed script of Spies Like Us from Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, and there's a note from Dan Aykroyd. Should I read that?
Sure.
Okay, so it says, to all involved, there is an alternate ending sequence in gestation. Instead of the interplanetary video visitor's ruse, which allows Fitzhume and Milbarge to penetrate the rocket site unopposed, we could employ the following. Just as they are about to confront the women rocket members, a bear enters the campsite, catches the women off guard, and succeeds in treeing them. Fitzhume and Milbarge rush in, wearing Soviet uniforms, tranquilize the bear, save the crew members, and thus earn their gratitude. An awkward halting scene then follows with the guys eating supper and flirting with the girls. Only when Fitzhume's grade school Russian gets stretched to its limit do the women suspect deception and hence must themselves be tranquilized. It was felt that this alternate sequence might serve to increase complications at the end. However, both Chevy and I strongly feel that the pace of the last half of the film is very good as it is, and we are both reluctant to tamper with it at the moment.
Interesting.
So we're going to have a random bear enter the scene.
I mean, it's no sillier than a lot of the other things that happen in this movie.
So instead of like Shakespeare's exit pursued by a bear, it would just be enter pursued by a bear. We tranquilize the bear.
Yeah, it's
and then
it's a choice. It's a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice. I mean, that could have been okay. Yeah, I mean, some more complications at the end. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like maybe they put that bear thing in another Aykroyd film, The Great Outdoors. Maybe he took it from that. You have to think of that?
I've never seen The Great Outdoors. So is there like random bear action in that?
Yeah, there's like a big bear action in that. You never seen The Great Outdoors? It's like
I have not seen The Great Outdoors. He did that with John Candy, right?
yeah. It's another kind of cheesy '80s film with that I saw as a kid hundreds of times just because it was on Sunday afternoons, and I had no money and nowhere to go.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Wow, yeah, that got personal. Sorry, buddy. All right, so.
Well, we got another tweet from Cool Ranch for Life. He says, "What's your thought on the Paul McCartney theme song and or how he looked with a mullet?" Well, we kind of covered the theme song. He doesn't really have a mullet in this movie, does he?
Yeah.
Or in the video. He had kind of shortish hair.
Yeah, it wasn't mullety. I know a mullet when I see a mullet. That ain't no mullet.
He certainly had a more mullet type of hairstyle later in the 80s where it was longer in the back, but he seemed pretty clean cut in this video.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say so.
So,
yeah. And we also got one from Puppet Perspective saying, "This film was slammed by critics, but I still remember how much my friends and I enjoyed it as we recited lines on the playground during recess. Do you think it's a movie you should see as a kid to really appreciate?" I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably works better when you're a kid. I mean, because we've spent close to 2 hours picking apart the various plot holes and things. I think if you're seeing it when you're like 13, it just kind of washes over you more.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember seeing as a kid, I'm not really understanding all the government espionage talk and all that technical, the spy stuff, but
right.
I liked funny faces and boobs, so that I got, and that I
sure,
liked.
Sure. It's yeah. I think of course watching it now, you have to have some understanding of the Cold War era and what it was like in the mid '80s with Russia and like that in that pre-Glasnost age.
Yeah, that's all stuff I did not understand, and I barely understand now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we have a great understanding of international relations. I think this podcast has proved it, nothing else.
Yes, absolutely.
We also got a nice bit of feedback about last week's episode about Idiocracy from I've Lost Jupiter.
Ooh.
So he enjoyed it. It says, "This ep was my first intro to your podcast. It was fun to hear a rundown of Idiocracy, one of my favorite Judge films. When Wilson's time casket crashes through the window and Dax calmly says, 'Hold on,' sums up the world perfectly. Fuddruckers is legit cool, had a blast." So I guess he liked my little tangent about the Fuddruckers dance party that I had in the before time.
Yeah.
Fuddruckers, or at least the Fuddruckers near me, plays a lot of cool 80s songs. And I look forward to the day that I can eat in there again and just sit and watch them and enjoy listening to some 80s tunes.
Someday, my friend, someday we will.
Someday.
We will return to the Fuddruckers.
But thank you very much, I've Lost Jupiter, and we hope you're still listening. We hope we're sufficiently entertaining, even when we're not covering a Mike Judge film.
Yeah, thanks, Jupe. Please tell a friend, leave a review, rate, subscribe, spread the word.
Yeah, and follow us on Twitter. You can follow the show page at SNL Nerds Show. You can also follow our individual Twitter pages. I am at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
Right. And so that was our Spies Like Us episode. It's a supersized episode at this point, I think.
We had
a lot to talk about. We had the movie and the music video.
I was not expecting to go almost 2 hours talking about Spies Like Us of all films.
And well, I mean, we had to cover the movie, the video. We had to talk about Roger Ebert being pervy. We had director cameos. There's so much in this movie.
This movie it was more than I expected, and it was just a gift I kept on giving.
I want to see if there's anything big that we missed in the IMDb trivia. Oh, well, it might be worth mentioning Paul McCartney. He also wrote the theme song to another spy movie, the James Bond movie Live and Let Die.
Oh, of course.
So Paul McCartney has had 2 hit songs that are theme songs to spy movies. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Here's a little in joke that I forgot to mention. When they're at the training facility, we hear all the troops running around in the background, and they're all going hut 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 hut, just like the police at the end of Blues Brothers.
Oh, that's where I remember hearing it from. I thought
that amused me. That amused me. Let's see. This is also on IMDb trivia. When Chevy Chase's coworker asks if he's taking the Foreign Service Board exam, he says, well, it's supposed to be all new this year, 500 questions in 2 hours. That means an exam taker would have to answer a question at least every 14.4 seconds. So, wow.
Whew. That seems like a lot.
That seems like a lot.
Okay, and
B.B. King was in this movie. What the?
That
I still don't get that.
That really threw me for a loop. I'm still baffled and befuddled by that.
It's so weird, right? We should talk about what we're doing next week. We didn't mention that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So next week, it'll be a new dawning, a new day. We'll have a new president. So we figured, well, let's get political one last time and talk about a little movie from 2003 called Head of State with Chris Rock.
One last time. We're never going to ever talk about politics again on this show?
Nope. It's never going to happen. Never, ever.
Okay. Not even when SNL has a political sketch?
No. Stop it. We're not going to talk about it. We're done.
Okay.
Done.
This will be a politics-free zone after next week, apparently. So this is a movie from 2003. So, of course, it was before Obama was elected, and it was just still science fiction that America might have a black president someday.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's crazy.
I've only seen bits and pieces of this movie. You've never seen Head of State, right?
No. I mean, as much as I am a fan of Chris Rock, I'll admit his movies are a little wanting. Like, some are okay, some are not that great.
I really haven't seen enough of Chris Rock's movies to have a judgment of them overall. I really liked Top 5 when we covered that last year. I think that's a good movie. He did a remake of Heaven Can Wait. I know that I'm blanking on the title of.
I think Down to Earth or something like that. But
that's it. Down to Earth. To Earth.
But yeah, Top 5 was, I would say, the best comedy he's ever done. But yeah,
all right, it's all downhill from here, you guys.
Yep, that's it.
So next week, Chris Rock as President of the United States and Head of State.
Right, and this actually came in as a request from one of our fans, but I can't find their tweet right now about it. But whoever you are, this one's for you.
Yes, you are our favorite listener person whose tweet we can't find right now. We'll find it for next week.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but that's it for this week, and I think we're done. Do we have anything else about Spies Like Us?
Dude, we've been going on for 2 hours now.
But there's more. There's probably, this movie is an onion. It's a never-ending thing. There's so much there.
Oh boy. Oh, actually, here. The Head of State suggested by Manette Marati, friend.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay, well, one of our regular listeners. Thank you, Manette Marati. So, as I said, you are our favorite.
Yes, you are you're the one. We love you.
It's all about you.
It's all about you, baby.
You and only you. And this will be for you. Mm-hmm. So we'll be here next week with Head of State. And until then, nerds out. That was perfect. That was a perfect episode of the podcast.
This was like a MacGruber episode. Holy Toledo.
This was. We went full MacGruber.
Ay, caramba. But it was good. I didn't expect it to. I really, again, when you suggested this movie, I was like, oh, that movie? All right. And then it just gave.
I think I really just wanted to watch the movie so I could talk about the video. I really like the song, and I find the video so just bizarrely compelling.
The truth comes out.
Oh shit! I just found there's a little. Okay, I'll just share this with you, and we're still recording. And Frank, if you want to use this as a bonus thing, okay.
Frank is just rolling his eyes.
Frank is in my pain.
I have a child.
Frank is okay, but this is from one of the YouTube comments. It says the Erats Emulator 3 keyboard that Chevy Chase is miming to is really an emulator to also the same keyboard you see in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This joke by Macca backfired badly because Emu 2 sales dropped as both people and emulator dealerships, through seeing this music video, thought the Emo 3, which was actually released in 1987 and looked different and improved, had been out already.
That is the nerdiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is some great music nerd trivia there.
I hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
I love that. I love that sales on a particular keyboard dropped because Chevy Chase was playing it in the video, and they just probably stuck another Roman numeral on there with tape.
Oh, Chevy, can you do anything right?
Oh, Chevy Chase, everything you touch, you destroy.
Okay, all right, I'm stopping this. All
right, we're calling it. We're done. I am stopping recording.
Oh man, Frank's gonna look at this and be like, 2 hours.
He's just gonna look at this and be like, "Fuck you guys, seriously, fuck you." I hate you so much.
I need to spend time with my child.
I have a family.
We love you, Frank. Thank you.
We love you, Frank. Thank you for everything you do.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit Non-Productive.com.